Free agent frenzy has begun. The Ottawa Senators have officially made a trade and two free agent signings at the time of recording, 12:48 p.m. And the signings are happening fast around the league. Every team is trying to improve their chances for the next season, and the Ottawa Senators and Steve Staios are trying to do the same. I'm Brandon Pillar from the Locked On Senators podcast, and let's get into some of the moves the Ottawa Senators have done so far. First off, we got to get into the trade. Jakob Chychrun has been rumored to be traded for months. It was all but inevitable that he was going to be moved. It unfortunately simply seemed like he was no longer a fit on this team. Sens fans had high hopes when he was brought in at the deadline, not this season, but last. Ross and I were excited about it. We were told this is a two-way defenseman that can play the right side. It was going to work out. Although he started off hot, and we were very excited about his small sample size at the end of that season. This season, really things changed. You could tell from the comparing his season ender presser from the first season to this season that Chychrun wasn't that excited to be here anymore. It seemed like he didn't fit on the ice or even off the ice anymore. So the Senators had to move on from him. He had one more year left at $4.6 million. So they free up a bit of cap space. They acquired him for a first-round pick and two second-round picks. And now they have traded him to the Washington Capitals in return for Nick Jensen and a 2026 third-round pick. First glance, this is underwhelming. It's really tough to watch the Ottawa Senators acquire these stars for big prices, appropriate prices, though, in DeBrincat and Chychrun at the time. It seemed like those were fair deals, and then only get a season and a bit out of Chychrun, but a season out of DeBrincat, and then have to trade them for pennies on the dollar. They acquire Nick Jensen and a third-round pick. I remain saying I really think it would have been better for the Senators to trade Chychrun for just future assets and then try to acquire a right-hand shot defenseman with those future assets acquired. But maybe there wasn't any teams willing to only give future assets. Maybe they had to move some cap as well. So I guess you got to work with what you got. But in Nick Jensen, the Ottawa Senators get a 33-year-old right shot defenseman, 6'1", 205 pounds. Last season with the Washington Capitals, in 78 games, he had 1 goal, 13 assists, finished as a -9. I think this is a solid second pair right-hand shot defenseman. Hopefully, this is a guy that can play with Thomas Chabot, a two-way right shot guy that puts up decent analytics that can help steady Chabot's kind of offensive minded, the yin and yang. You get a little bit of both here with Chabot and Jensen. We'll see if that pair is indeed how they line up and if it works. We've been looking for a partner with Thomas Chabot since Dylan DeMello was traded to the Winnipeg Jets years ago and haven't been able to find one. Hopefully, this is the answer. Now, Nick Jensen has 2 years left on his contract at $4.05 million. So really, you're only freeing up about $600,000 of cap space. Not that crazy or impactful, but you get your right-hand shot defenseman. And then the third-round pick in 2026 is just kind of an added bonus there. A little underwhelming, but I do believe the Ottawa Senators had to move on from Jakob Chychrun one way or another. And I think Steve Staios just wanted to get this done so that he knows what he's got there and he can continue to try to make some more signings, some more trades, and free up some cap space. Now, unfortunately, Shane Pinto still not signed for the Ottawa Senators. I still can't believe it. Sens fans can't believe it. It's rumored that he might ask for a trade here. Offer sheets might be a possibility. Hopefully it doesn't come to that. I'll just speak quickly on the Shane Pinto front. I think everybody needs to take a deep breath. I think both sides are trying to play strategic here to make their offer or their leverage more impressive here. I don't think anything's going to happen with Shane Pinto anytime soon. So I think we can just leave it at that. But certainly it's disappointing to see that news that they still can't come to agreements. So that's the trade. An RFA signing that we hope happens. Now let's get to some of the UFA signings that the Ottawa Senators have done. Again, I'm recording this at 12:53 now. You got to timestamp everything on free agent day because things happen quick. The Ottawa Senators sign David Perron to a 2-year deal at $4 million. This is certainly not the player we thought they were going to go for. That it is the type of player, let me rephrase that. It's the type of player, a veteran with lots of experience that puts up points consistently. David Perron certainly does that. It's hilarious that he's the guy that we get. Not Ross Levitan's favorite player, let's put it like that. Now that he's a Senator, we'll use a little bit more kind terms here. Ross likes to refer to him as a fake tough guy, as we all saw the incident that happened with when he was on the Red Wings with Artem Zub. We don't need to get into all that, but certainly there's some animosity between David Perron and the Senators. So a little bit surprising that he ends up signing here. But look, this is a guy that was an assistant captain with the Red Wings the 2 years he was there. Last season, 76 games, 17 goals, 30 assists, good for 47 points, finished as a -12. And the years before that, 56 points, 57, 58, 60. So this guy is pretty automatic for at least 40 points, if not more. So I think from that front, it's a good signing, and he has over 1,100 games of experience. He's won a Stanley Cup, and I think he's going to bring a certain element of, expectations to this team, as he's played in a lot of different areas too. So he certainly knows what it's like to have to bring a winning culture to a team, and he's been around a long time. So this is a veteran that the Ottawa Senators are going to be able to add to their middle six, likely going to play on the second line the way things are shaking out right now. So we'll see how that goes. But David Perron is a Senator, at least is signed to be a Senator for the next 2 years. I think 2 years at $4 million is a reasonable contract. Now, David Perron's 36 years old, so he's definitely getting up there. So I think the 2-year term is what you like. Maybe they had to add a little more on the AAV to make it happen, but it's a done deal, and David Perron will be wearing an Ottawa Senators jersey next season. Will it be number 57 on there? That remains to be seen. And then a bit more of a minor deal here. The Ottawa Senators sign Noah Gregor, a 1-year contract, one way at $850,000. He played with the Toronto Maple Leafs last season. This is a guy that's going to play in the bottom six for the Ottawa Senators. I believe he averaged right around 11 minutes of ice time with the Toronto Maple Leafs in 63 games. He had 6 goals, 6 assists for 12 points, finished as a -7. But he plays a physical game. He had 126 hits last season. And for a guy that's 6 feet, 190 pounds, not huge, it's good to add that physical element to his game. He doesn't really put up a lot of points. His career high in points came in 2021, 2022 with the San Jose Sharks, where he had 23 points in 63 games. This is a easy signing to replace Parker Kelly and Mark Kastelic. They needed guys on that fourth line, so Noah Gregor will fit that role, hopefully. He did have good numbers in the faceoff dot. However, he only took, I think it was like 34 faceoffs last season with the Toronto Maple Leafs, but 58.3%. So hopefully he can continue that, as the faceoff percentage for Mark Kastelic was always his top attribute. And hopefully Noah Gregor can add a little bit of help on the faceoff dot there. So far, that's the signings and trades we're looking at for the Ottawa Senators. I know Sens fans are disappointed right now. It seems like so many other teams, Nashville, Boston, Vancouver, Seattle, these teams are making big moves, signing big tickets to star players, while the Ottawa Senators, it seems like, are making secondary tier moves that aren't really wowing anyone. I think Sens fans on Twitter are disappointed right now, but we gotta try to trust this process. This is Steve Staios' first offseason. It was his first draft. It's going to take time for him to be able to put the team together the way he wants and kind of mop up Pierre Dorion's past mistakes. So we'll see how this plays out, as the Ottawa Senators will continue to make moves. They do have cap space available to them. However, you got to think they're still trying to sign Shane Pinto. The Ottawa Senators, on cap friendly, have $7 million left in cap space. So we'll see how they decide to allocate that money. Ross and I will have a full free agent day recap on tomorrow's episode of the Locked On Senators podcast. Ross is still in Vegas trying to get home. The WestJet flights have made things difficult to get home. So unusual for us to be not recording a full episode on a big day like this, but when travel happens, there's only so much you can do. So we appreciate everyone being patient. We're going to be doing update videos as things go along. So keep your eyes on at Sens Central on Twitter and YouTube. Thanks everybody for watching. Go Sens Go. This has been a free agent update from the Locked On Senators podcast. I'm Brandon Pillar. It's your team every day.